Welcome back, guys. Welcome to Grounded, a podcast by Inspiring Time. I'm Amber Card, if you don't know me, owner of Inspiring Time, where we do all things hospitality, healthy living, a fun little cocktail most nights, and a lot of floral design. So guys, with me today is Raquel Whitehead. She does all things dance and pink, though she actually doesn't like pink that much, she told me. And she went to the University of Alabama.
Yes.
Where you have a double major in communications and dance.
Yes.
And I'm going to let you fill in the rest because I know every time I read her bio, I'm just like, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall because it sounds amazing.
Thank you.
Though I'm sure super stressful and a lot of hard work.
It was a lot of hard work. So a little bit of how I got started. My mom had a dance studio. She still has a dance studio in Prattville. And she's taught for almost 50 years now, has owned her studio for almost 50 years. And I learned everything that I know from her. So, like I said, she was my first dance teacher. I started when I was 18 months, when I was able to start walking. And I think she was stretching my feet, stretching my legs as a baby. And that's really where I fell in love with it. So
that's incredible. So how long had she been in? Did she do any schools or anything like that to start her career?
She did. Actually, her side of the family is all from Houston. And so her brothers, her sister, all of them were involved in the arts. They actually took from the studio from Patrick Swayze's mom.
Oh my gosh.
And so my mom grew up with Patrick Swayze, and she danced everywhere. She danced at Houston Ballet as a soloist. She danced in New York City, in LA. And so she had a wealth of knowledge to share. And when she had a daughter, of course, it was passed down. So that's where it all began.
So you started at the age of 18 months.
Yes.
And it started growing. And
it did.
Okay, tell us the places that you went, the schools that you danced at,
yeah,
all the fun stuff.
So I started at my mom's studio, and then we met a wonderful teacher, Stefan Grabel, and he is Yugoslavian, or he's from the Czech Republic, I'm sorry. And he came here, started his studio in Birmingham in the Pelham area, and so I started training with him. I think about when I was 9, and then from there he opened the door for so many opportunities that I had. By the time I was 12 and in 7th grade, I went to Alabama School of Fine Arts, and I dormed there. And then after that, I went to the Kirov Ballet Academy, which is in Washington, D.C., and I boarded there as well. And then from there, I had an amazing opportunity to dance with the Hungarian Dance Academy in Budapest, Hungary. And then I came home. I had several gigs in New York City. I danced in Italy over the summer as an apprentice with some of their companies. Danced in Germany for a little bit, and then decided that it was time to go to college. So did that. I also danced at Julliard for 2 summers in a row. I did an apprenticeship with Ballet Hispanico in New York City, which was amazing. So I had a wonderful support system who taught me everything that I know, and with that, it opened the door for so many opportunities. So I have been very, very blessed, very, very grateful to have learned from so many wonderful people.
So all this wealth of knowledge, cultural experiences, which were you probably look back and remember that more now.
Yes.
But it wasn't just like, oh, hey, Mom, I'm going to go do this dance thing. I'll be back. I mean, how many hours were you looking at a day?
So by the time I was 12 and went to Alabama School of Fine Arts, and then from there, it was about 8 hours a day. And academics were squeezed into the day in between. And that did not include rehearsal time. So if you had rehearsals after that, that was either on the weekend or at nights. After dinner, after snack. So it was very extensive. And like I said, my mom taught me or instilled in me a really strong work ethic. Nothing comes easy. Nothing worth having comes easy. You must work for it. So I was taught that at a very young age. And, when we were dancing 8 hours a day, just because I was taught work hard, you can play later. It was nothing to do that. So.
Well, and so Emma Catherine, our daughter, is here at this amazing studio, y'all, and you have such great dance instructors here.
We do.
And so this is actually the first thing that Emma Catherine, we've tried a few other like gymnastics and volleyball, and we've tried to let her be open to what she wants to do, but this is actually the first time she's like, what other dance class can I take? Where else can I squeeze in? And we're here all the time.
Yes.
And we are not actually, okay, not all the time. Definitely not.
But you are, all the time.
I am coming through this little circle drive that looks amazing, and we'll get there here in a minute.
Thank you.
But we're here a lot, but you have to. And then she'll come home, and I'm like, okay, have you, stretched out? Have you done this? So it's not just the time at the studio. There's some prep time that needs to be done, way more than what we give it credit for at home right now. But it needs to be something on the mind all the time if that is what you're going for, just like the boys in football, which we haven't even talked about, y'all. Raquel has a house full of boys, and I hear that your husband is your biggest fan, number one supporter, biggest inspiration.
He is, yes. So, yes, I do have 3 boys, and I think, we have plans, and then God laughs. And I always thought, I would have a daughter. I would have be able to teach her and instill in her the passion that my mom instilled in me. But then I had 3 boys. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. Having boys is wonderful. When I come home, it's like I'm a queen in my own castle, because I am the only girl in the house. And it's wonderful. But I do love having girls at the studio. I can get all of my girly fixes during the week while I'm here and teaching, and it's amazing.
And I love one of the things that Emma Catherine, I've heard you say it, and Emma Catherine has come home, so I know that you're saying it at the studio, is that, Mommy, Miss Raquel said it's important to be kind, and I said, well, we say that, and she goes, yes, but Miss Raquel said it too. I'm like, okay. But, you say God he laughs when we have this grand plan.
Yeah.
But actually, it was brilliant on his part.
It was brilliant.
Because you get the best of both worlds.
Yes.
So at home, you're like, okay, I can take a break from all things pink and tutus and all the costumes. But here, you're passing on a wealth of information to how many people are enrolled, students?
We have almost 200 now. So
200.
It's wonderful.
I think all girls. There was one little boy last year.
We actually have a couple of boys this year. I know. I was excited.
So hip hop, is that what they're?
They are in hip hop, and then I have one in ballet too. So it's great.
I'm gonna work on Junior doing that, because sometimes his eye-hand coordination and spatial recognition at the age of 10 is a little. We're working on it. It's a work in progress.
Yes, it's not natural for boys.
But
they have to be taught.
But he actually loves gymnastics. So
good.
I've seen boys across the platforms of all different dance categories. So I think it's fantastic that. Okay, so you have a family. You have a family of little girls. You have all the parents that are calling you all the time. How in the world did you make the decision to get into being a business owner? You had your mom.
Yes.
So she was I'm sure she started the process.
Right.
But when did you know you wanted to start your own dance studio?
So I knew that I wanted to do it. It had just kind of been something. First, it was just a thought. Then it was a dream. And the boys at the time, I guess about 5 years ago, were too little, because I have twin boys as well. And when you have twins at the same time, everything revolves around them. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have the time to dedicate all of my time into really making what I wanted to make. And then COVID hit. And then over that summer, I was the school director for Montgomery Ballet. And over the summertime, I remember looking at my husband and saying, I think this might be time. This might be time to open a studio. And my very logical, very black and white, no gray area in between husband looked at me. I thought he was going to die. And he said, what? We're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm not really sure this is the best idea. But let's see, what are your ideas? Where do we go from here? And then from there, I had met Brittany, which is my creative director. Now she's our competition director for PRDA. And that was kind of a fate, meeting her. She has a wealth of knowledge too. And she danced professionally for many years as well. And I remember calling her and saying, hey,
I have this idea.
I know we're in a pandemic, but what if we did this? And I went through the numbers, and I said, hey, if we get to, just 40 students or this amount of students, I'll be able to pay you. I'll give you a paycheck. Let's just do this. Let's just start it and do it. And I will never forget opening up the website, opening up enrollment, and I think it was that first month we well exceeded 40 students.
We came to open house.
And I was so excited, so blown away. And it was completely a blessing. Completely a blessing.
So a little bit of background for those that don't know, they were in a rented space.
Yes.
In the middle of, I dropped Amy Catherine off literally in the middle of a cow pasture. I was like, where is this? And I have never seen so many little girls, little people coming in and out all the time. The doors were constantly open. There were masks on. There were thermometers. There was like the whole 9 yards. And the whole time, they're all like, welcome back. Come on in.
Yes.
And I mean, wow. To be in the middle of a pandemic, open up in a rented space to see, of course, being a small business, you need to kind of test the waters.
Yes.
You want to go all in, but logically you think, okay, well, let's see how a little bit goes, and then we'll talk about a space.
Right. That's correct.
And now, 1 year later, you're in this amazing space.
I know, which is so, and to circle back around to, I know we talked about family, and so my husband is, like I said, very logical, very black and white, and really, if it weren't for him, obviously, I have the artistic mind. So I say, here's my vision, let's do it, let's just implement it, and and very much a go-getter. Just let's do it. We'll make it work however we need to. But he keeps me grounded, for sure. And so throughout this whole process, he really was a huge hand in helping with the startup, with the business side, and then with the new building and facility. He put many, many, many hours of his time and love into this facility. And so, like I said, I have a wonderful support system who've been behind me this whole time. And I feel like, this was a dream. And then it just has completely, every step of the way the past 2 years have been a God wink to finding the perfect rental space, which was the Marks house. And it was a beautiful old historic home that we made work. And then we found this property, and we found it over the summertime, and then we renovated it, and then it kind of just flew from there, and has been amazing ever since. And owning a small business has its challenges, but when you love what you do, and every day you come into your space and it's very refreshing.
It is
very refreshing.
Though I don't have that space yet. One day when we stay still long enough.
Yes.
But I love that the entire community is around. So how long have you been in Pike Road?
So we have lived in Pike Road, I guess, almost 8 or 9 years. We moved out here before the elementary school was built. So it was actually, I think it was in the process of being built when we moved. We knew that Pike Road would be a great community. We knew that with the school system, it would be a good school, and we wanted to get our kids in there. And so we moved here 8 years ago, and have loved the community ever since.
We have moved extensively. I think we moved 8 times in the past 14 years.
Oh, man.
But by far, Pike Road, and I was very apprehensive about moving here just because it wasn't anywhere on our radar.
Yeah.
You know, and you kind of get in this path, you go, okay, I'm supposed to be going here and then here.
Right.
And sometimes even for military families, it's like, okay, take a minute.
Yes.
And reset.
Yeah.
So we get here, and I was grousing because it's not what we thought, and I'm like, wait a second. All these things are falling into place, just like Brittany. All these little things, I start meeting these amazing women in business, in the community.
Right.
I find the perfect dance spot for Emma Catherine.
Yes.
Christopher falls into his, football and martial arts and all these little things. I'm going, wait a second. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it.
It's a God wink. It's a God wink.
We're going to take a minute and breathe. And this by far has been a community above all other. Like,
Yes.
most welcoming.
Yes.
I
For
mean,
sure.
you better not mess with the people here because they're going to mess back.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
have your back.
They do.
I love it.
They really do. It is a really wonderful community, especially to raise a family in, because the schools are I feel like parents are heavily invested in all 3 schools, and which you want to see that with your children when they're growing up. So there's a lot of parent involvement in everything, and then you do have all of the support of the community. It is a small community, and with wonderful people. You do have
and
the
brilliant
support.
minds. Like, I've never met such a diverse, because it's not just like everybody goes to one of the car plants and GMs and
Right.
things. It's all across the board. There are
is.
so many talents. You've got military, you've got anything there is to offer. We've got it covered.
You really do.
And there's so many great programs here for. I mean, I just really can't sing the praises enough of this small town.
Me too.
I could keep going.
Me too. We could do a whole podcast on the town of Pike Road.
Right, and I feel like that. To me, don't you feel like that's probably what helped boost your?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
People loved you
Well,
and the family.
I think there was a need.
Yes, but give yourself plenty of credit because you're loved. They want to support you, but yes, the talent, and then they're like, wait a second, there's superior talent coming out of this facility too. I mean, it's an incredible find in our town to have you here.
Oh, well, thank you. It's been wonderful to be here.
What advice would you give to maybe somebody wanting to start their own, either gymnastics, something in the realm of dance, gymnastics? Is there any tips that you would give them about starting their own business?
Well, I'll give the advice that my husband gave me. Raquel, you need to come up with a business plan. And I said, it's here. My business plan is here. I know what I'm doing. No, but in all seriousness,
when you're artistic
and
creative
and you have that creative brain, that's what you go with. But I would say, obviously, come up with your business plan. Number 1, don't get in over your head. Start small, even if it's a tiny space, and then you can always build from there. Like you said, small business, test the waters before you do it. I think that was probably a really good decision too on the business side, was to find a rental place that I could make work.
Well, and Christopher Card, the husband Christopher, is very much the same way. We are usually sitting on the couch, after the kids are in bed, it's like 9:15, and I'm just finally responding to all the texts and emails coming through.
Yeah.
I know you know how that is, because I've texted you at that time. You don't have to respond to me, just leave it for the morning.
No.
But I'll just start spinning off like, oh my gosh, we could do this workshop, or we could do this, or what if, and he's he just looks at me and he goes, I need you to put it in writing. I need you to think about the logistics.
Right.
And then we'll talk about the money.
Yes.
When you have all those things written down.
Correct.
It is very important being a creative who I'm constantly spinning through things. What can we do? What can we do?
Yes.
And I usually have 2 years to do it in that town.
In that, yes.
In the town that we're in. So it's kind of like,
no stress.
Okay, ding. This is what I got. And he's like, okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. That happens a lot in our household too. So it's funny that your podcast is called Grounded, because I constantly feel like my husband is grounding me in a very positive way.
It's the balance.
It is the balance.
That's why it works.
And I'm sure it's very overwhelming for our husbands to have creative thinkers as wives. I'm sure they're like, great, another idea. Here we go. How are we going to make this work?
But, I'm sure even for the recital, though he doesn't have like a huge part of...
Oh, but he does.
But the artistic side of it, you and Miss Brittany take care of. However,
yes,
he's behind the scenes, getting signage probably and
right,
and all the like parking and
all the
those
things. All the things. That's what he's doing. And I think I'll never forget at the spring recital last year, which was our first recital. It was our first year being open. He came, which he hadn't, he doesn't come to the dance classes. He doesn't come in to the studio. So he hadn't done that all year. He had been behind the scenes working on everything else. And I remember he was completely overwhelmed after the recital, and he said, oh my gosh, we have to find a new space for all these people. He said, oh my goodness, here's all the things. Once again, here we go. So yeah, I'm sure they love having creative wives. I'm sure they love it. With all the ideas.
So he's on that side. I have Christopher Card in fountains putting up garlands for massive weddings. And he's like, are you serious right now? I fly airplanes. I'm a
manly man. I don't do
towers. He does it with... He grouses a little bit just to let me know he's not real happy about it. But then we make the perfect team.
Yes.
Because I don't have to tell him exactly what I'm thinking. It's kind of like, here's the plan. Here it is. And he knows that if I'm not doing this part, he can he can go do the part. So
right.
Thank
Absolutely.
goodness for the men who love us.
Who love us so well. And support us.
Please don't go anywhere.
Yeah. No, you can't. You can't go anywhere.
I love it. Okay, out of all of this, we've bounced around a little bit. But I think let's kind of close with raising girls.
Okay.
So you are definitely raising boys and doing all things boys, but you have the biggest hand. You're raising my daughter. I mean, in the sense that you're giving her confidence. You're showing her stage presence. And women, as we know, we have a lot of hats to wear.
We do.
You can wear yoga pants and a sloppy sweatshirt with your hair up in a messy bun, or we can put on
decent clothes
and go do a podcast, or you have to show up and do full out formal ball gowns and look stage ready at any given moment.
Right. So
running a studio, how does dance, how do all these elements help, do you feel? And you can, include yourself, of course.
Sure. So I think, honestly, I probably have an easier job than you do. I do see girls on a daily basis. And I think that raising girls, because women have to wear so many hats, and it is expected of us to be mom, have a career, look great while we're doing it, don't melt down in front of anybody, all of those things, it is much harder, I feel, to raise a girl in this society. So I think that my job as a mom raising 3 boys is probably easier than a mom who's raising a girl. So when the girls come into the studio, and we've had many conversations last year and this year about presenting yourself in a way that you would want someone to see you in public, and being confident. And when you go onto the stage, smile. Your chest is up. I constantly tell the girls, lift your chest as if you have a big diamond necklace right here. So anywhere you walk, I told them last night, even if you're going to the grocery store in Publix, I want you to shoulders back, chest up, chin up. You know, present yourself with the confidence that you have inside. But then I think it is also very important, especially for girls who are in this adolescent age, that being kind to one another, being supportive of one another is so important for women. It is so, so important. You know, because we wear so many hats and we have so many responsibilities as women, it can get taxing at times, and it can be very tiring. And being tired comes out the snippy part. And so I think that there's many situations in life where you may meet somebody just in passing, and you never know where that might lead. You might see that person again. You might work for that person one day. You might be in that person's wedding one day. You never know. So in all instances, it's always better to be kind and to everyone you meet, even if it's somebody that you know hasn't been kind, or might be a little aggravating at times. It's important to step back, take a breath, and answer with kindness.
I was very apprehensive when we started our competition, the elite team, because there's so many girls.
There are, yes.
And there's a lot of personalities and a lot of big emotional personalities.
Yes.
That happen at this stage. So I was very apprehensive going in, kind of tiptoeing in. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
This is the most supportive, beautiful group of big personalities. Everybody's hair, body style, everything is so different.
Yes.
In our company group, and it is lovely. It is so wonderful to come out, and Emma Catherine has made friends with every single girl. She knows all their names. Everybody's laughing.
Yes.
And so there again, you just have to stop and tell yourself, like, you need to refocus.
Yes.
The things that are happening all over the news and how people are hating each other and all this stuff.
I know.
You just have to take a minute to see where you are.
Yes.
And appreciate where you are. And I feel like it is, every time I go, I do a lot of that. It's like I had my thoughts and this is what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And truly, if you just stop to look at the situation, it is not at all what you might have been anticipating.
Right. Right.
And to teach the girls that it doesn't matter. We're here to have fun, but we're here to work hard.
Right.
And that's very important right now too, because I see a lot of things that are just in the classroom that are a lot different than what you would see in an organized sport or in the dance studio.
Right. Right.
There's just everybody's across the board right now, all different places.
Yes.
But it's nice to see here that we're being kind, we're working hard.
Yeah.
And then Catherine, she'll come home and she'll be like, "Look at what I did." And I'm
like,
okay.
I love it.
Okay, so think about that count. And because I did take dance, I took basic dance, like jazz and ballet.
Yeah.
But I can at least go, okay, let's rethink that,
Right.
Keep practicing.
Let's try it again. Yeah.
Right. And I can be supportive that way.
And that's wonderful.
Right.
Yeah.
Just be supportive.
Just be. And like you said, we do really have wonderful families here, and our competition team, not just our competition teams, but even our recreational classes, it is such a good group of girls. A really wonderful group of girls.
And I worked downstairs at the spring recital. I was so tired after two.
So you were a stage mom.
It was fantastic to see that much gyrating energy, but I was so tired.
Yes.
But yes, everybody there. It was a well-oiled machine by the time we left. Like, everybody had fun. Everybody in their place. This is just a beautiful place to be.
Well, thank you. We certainly enjoy it, and I love meeting all the new families, having the families come back from last year, it's been a dream. I know I've said that so many times, but it really has been a dream.
It's what you're not hearing right now. People don't feel like they can love their job. So to hear that you love your career, love your business, love the ladies and gentlemen that are here, it's rewarding to hear that.
It is. It is very rewarding.
Raquel, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Guys, check out the links below. I will link your website. I'll put her bio, Raquel's bio, and then all the notes down below if you want to find any or all the above. And we'll see you next time.